Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Double D's live podcast with myself and Muireann. Hope you're all well this week. Muir, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am good. I'm just trying to check and make sure that we're going live in all the places that we should be. We are good.
Perfecto. Yep, here we are. We've popped up on Instagram there now, is that?
Turn on comments.
No. Come and
And
talk
then
to
turn
us.
us down.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, don't leave us hanging. How are you, Muir?
I'm good. I'm good. The usual madness, absolute madness, but good madness though, but just madness. I moved the horses this morning, and I know I should not give out about my own, but sweet Jesus AJ is such a yeah, she is so bold. She's so bold. Like I don't know what I'm going to do, but like, oh my God. So I all I wanted to do, right, was bring them from literally open a gate. And I wasn't even going to catch them. Like the three of them run out into the new field. So, and Theo is very good. He's surprisingly become kind of leader of the herd, which I wasn't expecting. So
Right.
like it's always that about. I don't know what's going on, but it's quite nice to see. So he walked out. Annabelle walked out. AJ stood there for a few minutes while it lashed rain, and I had a hole in my welly, and my sock got really wet. And she stood there, and she ran into the field, and then she promptly ran back into the old field. It's like, this is just not funny. This is actually not funny. I'm not going to be able to catch her because she's going to be all in the snot. And anyway, she did eventually go back into her own field. It's like, you're so like your mommy. She's so like Annabelle. She's so like her. She's so bold. But now they're all very happy, eating away in their new field, and the world is wonderful. And she has discovered there's you couldn't even call it a river. It's kind of like a in between a river and a stream that runs down along the side. So if she's afraid of water, it's all a cod because she has a giant puddle in the middle and this at the end. So I give up if she's going to have a fear of water. Although mine, no, my looks probably
No, she'll be fine. She'll be fine. Whenever I'm moving mine around the place here, because we have a couple of fields connected, and then we have like one that's kind of across the driveway, and it's always worrisome, like when you're starting to move them. But I end up thinking about it like days in advance. I'm like, right, okay, who can I lead across that's not going to, one, kill me, get overexcited, whatever, two, is going to be enough of a leader to pull the rest of them across.
Yeah.
If I have to leave them on the other side and go get the rest of them, they're not going to panic. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the dynamics. And knowing the pecking order is huge. But Madison, for me, Madison is an absolute, and has always been, hence why she's retired at a very early age, a nightmare. She will just, she'll run through anything, loses all reason. And like, she's the one that launched herself over the 5-bar post and rail. She got out onto the laneway one night, and Sylvester, I was asleep, and the next thing I heard Sylvester was babysitting her, and the next thing I heard Sylvester whinnying from half a mile away, basically. And I was like, that's him, and that's not like him. I went down, she was out, and this is all before she was a year old. And then eventually she's the one that took in 2 legs into the glass house and through the post and rail fence into the glass house, and then ended up having to have surgery. So she's got herself into some predicaments over the years, so she's never the first one that I'll bring. She's never the first one that I'll bring, that's for sure. But yeah, trying to know the dynamics and how you're going to manage it all, especially if you're on your own. Like,
it's sometimes here, and I do not mean this with disrespect to Park when he listens back to it, sometimes it's actually easier here for me to move them on my own, because generally if Park is going out, he's moving cattle. So they nearly associate him with the cattle running and going and coming. So they get a bit flustered and they get in a bit of a flap. Now, Annabelle, not so much because she was born and reared here. So she's well used to it. But sometimes you can see, like, if he goes out, Theo's like, what's he doing now? What's happening? Whereas me, he's just like, what's the crack? Like, what do you do out here? Like, but I can't wait to bring him back into work. I was looking at your video the other day and I was like, oh, I just want to sit on a horse I just want to sit up on a
I
horse.
know I haven't ridden since now. It just hasn't.
Well, now
I
I'm in
haven't
Clare's on
ridden since,
Thursday.
but
I
actually, I haven't ridden since, but it actually kind of makes me feel like I've got loads of time so that I could.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
it hasn't been bad. I'm kind of going, yeah, I'll prioritize that now, tomorrow, the next
But
day,
it's
or
okay.
whatever, and
Love it.
get it done. I'm not worrying too much about it.
Well, I'm in Clare's on Thursday, but that is not when Claire watches this, that is not me volunteering to ride any of those 2-year-olds. Not.
Leak that bit out.
I love Claire and all, but I'm
How did you fare with the storm?
a little bit hit and miss. We lost more trees in the last one than we did in this one. But sure, the
How
electricity
did you fare
went
with the
and then it came
storm?
back. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
go ahead. It's a bit glitchy, but go ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know what's
Can
going
you hear
on
me?
there. We lost more trees in the last one than we did in this one. Because there's a few big old kind of oak trees down the back of the farm. But the electricity went, then it came back, and then it went, then it came back. And there was like it was actually quite scary, to be honest. I wasn't worried the last time, but I was worried this time. But thankfully, touch wood, we were fairly unscathed. We weren't too bad. Do you want to tell people what happened to you with the storm, Sarah?
Well, no, in grand scheme of things, and I have to keep perspective on this, don't I? Like, I mean, we were all safe, all horses fine, everything was
Yes.
grand. But we did lose electricity, we lost water, obviously our heating, and like, okay, the Wi-Fi isn't included in that, but that didn't bother me. It was our phone signal, like our coverage went as well, so we had no way of contacting anybody. We had, yeah, it was. Now thankfully we had the gas cooker, so like we could keep cooking in the house, whatever. But we lost everything in our fridge. Our freezer started to defrost, like, and we have two freezers that are full of meat, like not even just like bits of meat that are handy enough to replace the such, like they were full of meat, and it was just very, very stressful. And I was really, really like, and I'm gonna say like irrationally angry over the weekend, because I was like, this shouldn't happen. Like everything shouldn't
I
go at
don't
the
think
one
that's
time.
irrational.
Everything shouldn't be reliant on the one thing. You know what I mean? And I just,
Yeah, yeah. I think we've all learned to go and buy generators.
yeah, and I mean, like we're the same, but it's even getting the generator that's big enough to run your heat. Like, so the main things for me that were really, really like triggering me, if you want to, for want of a better word, was the lack of heating. The rooms were cold,
Yeah.
the girls were cold. That was like, that was
Yeah.
really, really stressing me out. The lack of water in that, obviously, you don't realize how much you use water in a day. I think it's ridiculous how much you use water in a day. But for the cleanliness, like the kitchen was a mess, and it was driving me insane.
Yeah.
And then the freezers. You know what I mean? Like the thought of losing all that food, all that kind of money, I was like, it's just, that was very, very stressful. And then like I actually couldn't have given a hoot about the Wi-Fi. Like I really couldn't have. There was nothing
Grand
that I
scheme of
missed in
things.
that regard. Like our monitors are on, like our monitors are on Wi-Fi, but I just went to bed early and just stayed in that part of the house so that I could hear the girls like through my ears, not through the monitors. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, them being a bit cold in the morning, on Saturday morning when they came in, and then, the place just getting dirty, and like me not being able to shower for a few days, it just like. And I did have the force to give them a bath on the Thursday night, but I was still going like the clock's ticking, like they're going to need a bath. You know what I mean? So,
How long was it gone for?
it was the basics. I was like, oh my god.
How long was it
gone for basically 2 full days. Yeah, it was gone for basically 2 full days. But I mean, in that being said, like even people like right beside us still didn't have it back until like a good 24 hours after that. water is still not back fully. Like, it is not back to normal by any stretch of the imagination. So even me complaining at that, it's still better. But it's just, but it was that, like, I was walking around like a bear with a sore head. John was like, "What's wrong with?" And I was like, "I am just so mad that this is that we're so reliant on electricity and like." Yeah, and again, it did feel irrational because I was like, we're fine and we can have food and we can get water from different sources and stuff like that. But I was like,
you can still be frustrated. Like it's not like you're gone to bed and you're not getting up. Like you can still be frustrated over it.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was like a sense of entitlement. Like, how dare you take this from me? That wasn't what I was about. I was like, these are basic, fundamental, like to be clean and warm.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But we did have Paige turned 3 on Thursday. So we did have a party for her then on Sunday. Like, we didn't know if we were going to have a party, as in we were saying, like, we just do sandwiches. We didn't mind.
Yeah.
It was just for family. But she just had an absolute ball. She just kept saying happy birthday for herself. She was an absolute hoot.
Oh, I love it.
I know. What about your week? What was on your agenda, bar the storm?
What did we do? Just loads of rugby. Fionn had a match. It was the first time that he had captained his team, so that was a proud little family moment. Until I got really mad at it. I had to rein myself back in from having a little chat to the ref at one stage during the match. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was quite frustrated and had
Were you about to get a red card mark?
Oh, like, yeah. I was getting quite angry. So I had to practice my diplomacy, which doesn't generally go very well, in fairness. But I stepped away and I was okay. And then Carlo, the seniors were playing, and they won, which was great. So we had a few lemonades after that to celebrate, because we haven't had very much to celebrate for the rest of the season. So we had a few, but it was good crack, in fairness. Like we're very, very lucky. Like when I went into the rugby club first, I found it really awkward. And like, I'm not talking out of turn. I've said this at an awful lot of committee meetings. Like, I was Pádraig's girlfriend, but he knew everybody and I knew no one. And Pádraig is a devil. Like, he'll go in and he'll be like, "Sure, get yourself a drink there. I'll be back in a minute." All right. I'll just stay here then, shall I? So I can understand how it can be a strange place. And like it can be intimidating. It's an intimidating place to go into. But it was lovely because there was some of the men's seniors, there was the women's team, there was girlfriends, there was wives, there was partners, there was some of the 18s. And it was a really lovely mix, kind of all sitting in together and just talking, like just having the crack. Now, it was very good fun, I have to say. So I enjoyed that. And then what did we do? We didn't do very much for the rest of the weekend, to be honest. Pottered about here, trying to sort out the horses, actually, do you know what I would love to know? So I have my little tack room. And now I say tack room, it's a wooden shed in a shed. Like, it's not fancy by any means, but it's somewhere I can put in all my stuff and all my bits, and they're all together and I can organize them. And I currently have my tack locker in my tack room, which obviously has my tack in it. But I'm really struggling to keep the damp out of it. So I have dehumidifiers in it. I gave in and brought my saddle up because I'm very precious about my lovely Antares saddle and I love it. So I have it in the house. But how do you keep damp out of your tack room? How do you stop your tack room or your tack even, from getting like damp? And you know that, I don't want to say mold, but you know that feeling that you get on it when you know it's a little bit damp enough, right?
It's a bit tacky or something.
Yeah.
We have a Kingspan roof on it, so we have it insulated, and that definitely helps. Definitely helps. So when you compare, the next block of stables that we have has it has felt on the inside, but it's not the insulated corrugated sheeting that you get with Kingspan. So there's definitely, when you go into those stables, you can feel the condensation,
You can feel
and
it,
then you
yeah.
don't get
Yeah.
that in the original block of stables that has the kingspan. So that definitely helps. I also keep them covered. I don't have them in the tack locker because the tack locker itself is metal. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to it's going to be colder in there. So I leave.
Oh dear.
Quite well. I can't complain about them. It's not something that I probably, but yeah, definitely the insulation helps, I think.
Has helped. I don't know what's going on with our Wi-Fi tonight, Sarah, but you keep freezing on me. Are you back? Oh, no.
Are you back? Am I back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're back now. I'm not going to lie, I was going to take a picture of Froze on a really funny face there. I don't know if you were in
You should have. You should have. It does seem like my Wi-Fi is glitching in and out here, so we're obviously not back to 100% normal. But we'll keep going and see if it gets very frustrating. We'll call it a night early. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, should we move on to our first topic?
No, I want to go back for a second because you have written learning to control your words. Was that to the ref?
Yeah.
I want to know what these were. I was like, don't just glance past that now. Don't just glance past that.
So, right. In the interest of fairness, right? We do, like the IRFU and the Leinster branch do an awful lot of work on respecting our refs and being polite to our officials, and everybody makes a huge effort. But I got really frustrated because fair is fair. And if you're going to call something for one side, you have to call it for the other side. And I was getting quite animated and quite worked up that this was not happening. Like at an under 13s match, it was really silly. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. But I really had to, I had to take a step back. I had to actually walk away from the pitch and have a little moment and come back and be like, Muireann, really and truly, you were at an under 13s rugby match. Will you get a grip of yourself here now? Like, Jesus Christ. So I don't usually lose my temper, and I don't even think it was temper. I was just getting really frustrated because I could see the players getting very frustrated. I could see the coaches getting very frustrated. And I was going, why won't he just, if he's going to call a rule for one, which was the rules, like he was dead right. I can't argue what he was calling. But if he was going to call it for one side, he surely had to call it for the other. And I was getting so frustrated. And I really had to, I keep thinking of my dad, like, you have 2 ears in one mouth, Muireann, 2 ears in one mouth. I was like, right, just step away. That is why I have that written down. Oh, yeah. I was getting so mad, in fairness. But I was really proud of the chaps because they didn't respond. They were polite, they were courteous, they didn't say anything to the ref. They thanked him coming off. They all lined up, they all shook hands. I was very, very proud. They actually probably held themselves better than I did, to be fair. It was none of them had to go and take a moment. They were all fine. It was only me had to do the moment away. But no, that's why I have that written down, learning to mind my words and how it affects others around me, possibly.
Well, it's always a great skill to have. And yes, go back to your daddy's words, 2 ears and 1 mouth. But that's gas. I can relate to that. And I think I don't really know what it's like in rugby because I don't watch nor play rugby, but with like it can be very volatile. Like, and I even know like with soccer, like my dad's
oh dear.
But yeah, it everyone needs a manner check. So it's nice to see that the kids are learning the right way as they go.
I think your Wi-Fi is really dropping, Sarah.
It is. It's a
coming
right
in and out.
pain.
And Park, stop being a smart arse for the sitting room. Park has just put in a comment, are you not over it yet?
Are you not
No, I'm not over it. I'm not.
Borg, we want to know more details. We want to know more details, Borg.
I'm 100% not over it yet. I will tell you now the course of that rugby match. Right there from that game. We might have had a few conversations about it since at home, possibly.
May have come up in conversation. Okay, go on. Let's go with the main topic and see if we can get through without having to start again or come back with my Wi-Fi. So go for it.
Right. I want to know a little bit more about you. I want to know about starting Envious, how it started, why it started, what the roadblocks are, what you find the most difficult, and what comes the most naturally to you in it all. I know we get a lot of female entrepreneurs listening and thinking about starting businesses and wanting to venture into the business world. So I want to know a little bit more about how Sarah's brain works with it all. Oh, are you back?
Just. Oh, I think my Wi-Fi is still too bad.
Do you want to, will we finish up and we can go again tomorrow night or another night, or what do you think?
Yeah. Look, we'll answer a few of those questions anyway. Hopefully it's not too bitty for those listening. But yeah, so just to give a kind of a background on Envious. Envious is started out as a pure dress hire company between me and my best friend, and another friend of ours was involved in the beginning as well. And it was just an opportunity. Nicola has always been, a fan of styling or even just kind of dressing really well. Like, you know what I mean? She's just always been kind of style conscious and had a lot of dresses that she'd purchased throughout the years and learned a lot about her own style journey, shall we say. And she saw an opportunity to start a business, and mostly remotely. It was supposed to be remote. All of it was supposed to be, like, there wasn't supposed to be any in person. But I think for anyone who's met Nicola, they know that, like, once you get talking to her, you understand and you realize the passion that she has for it. You know what I mean? So she just kind of sells herself without even trying. And that always translates better in person anyway. But I text Nicola after we kind of said maybe this is a good, and it was more kind of like just to have a bit of a side hustle and a bit of crack along the way. And I text Nicola and I was like, look, I don't have to be part of this business. Like, I'll still help you as much as you need. I was like, I'll help you with the background stuff. I'll help you with the social media, the online, all that sort of stuff. I was like, I don't have to be an official part of this business. And she was like, no, I wouldn't do it on my own. And that's basically how it started. And then it has evolved from there. It has been a journey, a really positive journey now, in fairness, but it has been a slog at the same time. Like, there's been so many, and I can say, so my kind of area is, again, like with Equitas, it's the ops, it's kind of behind the scenes, trying to ensure that I see my role within Envious as, like, Nicola has the vision and I'm trying to bring it to life. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get it to as many people as possible. I don't have a background in marketing, so that doesn't come very natural to me. But I do have somewhat of an understanding, thanks to Equitas, of it. And yeah, it's been great. Crack being in business with my best friend. We're very different yet very alike. You know what I mean? She's very, very creative, but then wants to understand operationally. So she'll pass stuff over to me, I'll figure it out, but then she'll go down the rabbit holes and she'll learn it too. Do you know what I mean? So from there, then it's really evolving as a duo. Do you know what I mean? So she then also had the genius idea of the Envy Band, and bringing that, and that has been very, very different to what we do with Equitas, even, because that's product based. So that's kind of then my side of things, where Nicola looks after the styling and the dress hire kind of in person, and I deal with all the Envy Band orders and packing them and getting them out. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of, and that's probably
where did the inspiration from the Envy Band come from?
Basically, like if you have a look at any like outfit pick, if you have a jumper at all or a t-shirt that's tucked in, like tucking some clothes in is very, very, I'm not even going to say on trend. It's a style, you know what I mean? And kind of if it suits you, it suits you. And if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But for that style, it was definitely a missing component. You know what I mean? You're either tying up your t-shirts or your jumpers at the back, or you're tucking them in and you have a bit of a
With a
bulge
bob.
at the waistband.
Yeah.
No one wants that. And yeah,
But anyway, I don't need that.
no, nobody does. But it was just coming from that, very, very simple, but very, very effective, you know. And Nicola has a few
Yeah.
other things kind of in her head that we're trying to kind of get prototypes on that are of the same ilk, as in very simple but very effective.
Yeah.
And just said to make life easier. And the main thing is, and one of the main reasons why we got into Envious was sustainability and like reusing and rewearing the clothes that you love. So like the dress hire has one side of it where you reuse occasion wear and it doesn't just sit in your wardrobe.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the Envy band contributes then to maximizing your current wardrobe. So like, what are the t-shirts that maybe don't hit right? Okay, we'll put the Envy band with them and get them flattering.
Yeah.
What about the jumpers that just feel too bulky or that won't tuck into your skirt? Well, there's the Envy band for that now. So, you know, you kind of, it helps you just to bring outfits together and yeah, maximize your current wardrobe is probably the main reason for it.
And what do you think has been your biggest learning? Like you've been so involved in Equitas the whole way along, and try and keep manners on myself and Shane, and try and keep us in timelines and organise us, which I know is not the most simple thing in the world at the best of times, to be fair, and rein us back in while we go in our little rabbit holes and see squirrels. But what do you think that you have learned the most from becoming a businesswoman outside of Equitas, so with Envious?
Oh God, there are just so many layers, like from, and again, kind of thinking operationally, like from email marketing to sales to, you know, even your shop front, like your social media, your how do you actually sell the stuff? How do you actually get them to the customer? The processes behind that, like there's so many layers, you know what I mean, behind your website, behind the functionality of it all. And that has been fun. And we've done it in such a way where we have done it like kind of step by step, where we've improved it. We said, right, okay, that'll do for now. How can we make it better? So you hustle, you get it going, you get it live. So that has probably been one of the bigger things where is like, and Nicola has this thing where she's like the 80% rule. If it works 80% of the time, you know what I mean? It's good enough for now. And I'm like, no, I'm 100% kind of person. You know,
I was going to say, how do you cope with that?
Yeah, I have to remind myself of that a lot, and that has definitely helped me. You know what I mean? And another one that Nicola would say would be, you know, if it's 10% better than it was, you know what I mean? It's good enough. Whereas I'm like, I want it perfect, and I would almost kind of gatekeep and hold back until it was perfect, and that's not how you should be in business. Like business, what is it? It says if you're not embarrassed by your first launch, you launch too late or something like that. To get up and get out and put it out there, even if it's not perfect, you learn, you make it better. And that has been hard to do, but I have loved learning all the operational stuff behind the scenes of how to distribute and how to even it's fascinating, like getting products made, because again, this is the first time I have anything to do with a product-based business rather than a service-based, even with my coaching. And there's a lot to be said for it. There's a lot to be said for just that transaction. That is quite, I'm going to say, satisfying. And then there's obviously a bit of customer support then that follows along with it, or, you know, kind of customer service that has to go along with it. But it's really not a huge amount, not the way a service-based business is. And I have to admit, I do like that side of it. And I don't know whether I like that side of it because that's probably the side that suits my lifestyle now, or it's the operational, like it's tick that box, let's get that done. You know what I mean? And
well, it's probably a bit of both, realistically.
Yeah,
you know, that you
I
can
think
do the two,
probably,
and it's
but I didn't anticipate that. I didn't anticipate that with the envy brand. It was just, I just said to Nicola, look, this is something that I can take from you in totality, because she was obviously so busy
yeah,
with the in-person dress hires and with the styling consultations and stuff like that. So, and that type of stuff was stuff that I couldn't commit to, you know what I mean? Like consistently. So, yeah, that's kind of, and we're very different, me and Nicola, but we work very well together.
yeah,
Like, and you could hear us talking and we sound like we're arguing and debating, and we do, but
yeah,
we're like sisters. Like, it doesn't go
yeah,
any deeper
yeah.
than
It's
ever.
working. You get on with
You
it.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, we can have a debate and be like, yeah, love you, bye.
But you have to, though, don't you? You have to be able to have those open conversations.
You
And
have to be
what do
very
you think?
transparent and very, very open. Yeah,
Oh
100%.
yeah, yeah. What do you think the biggest crossovers are? So, like your role within the two companies is quite similar, and you've obviously learned an
Mhm.
awful lot from both. So, do you think that there's crossovers within being a businesswoman within two really, really different industries and two different atmospheres?
They're they're very different, but they're also very, very similar. It is actually hilarious. Yeah, when I step back and go, "Oh wow, that's so
Okay.
interesting." The empowerment side of things, the confidence side of things is
Yeah,
very, very evident in it's very evident in Equitas. Obviously, it's our motto, but it's very evident in Envious, and that, like, empowering women, it's not just to actually pick a dress for an event, it's to educate
mhm,
yourself on why that dress suits you. You know what I mean? And then as a result, when you know what suits you, then you're more confident in what you wear every day and you
yeah,
feel better, and all of that goes with it. So, but then that's also what I have done for years and years of my coaching.
yes, yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm not standing in the middle of the arena shouting at you, telling you what to do. I'm discussing why this is happening. What can we do about it? What are your thoughts, your feedback? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
coaching you through scenarios so that you can do them without me. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's to see the parallels is very, very strange. So the ethos and the mentality behind each of my brands is pretty similar. Pretty similar.
yeah. I don't know if your gun is still there.
No, I'm here. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
good. Yeah, no, I can hear you. The videos. Oh no, you're back now. You're back. You're back. You're back. You're back. You're
Okay,
back.
okay, okay.
I love it. It's so fascinating because I think we get. Well, I should now. I'm not going to speak for you. I think we forget that we know each other very well, and we spend a lot of time
Mhm.
chatting to each other. But sometimes you get in questions, and I'm going, "Ah, sure, we know that," but I forget that people that maybe
Yeah.
we don't speak a lot about what. Like I know somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, you're a farmer." I said, "Yeah, we're like, we didn't know that." Yep.
We
Ah,
overthink everything, don't we? Like, we overthink.
oh,
We wouldn't ask the same question twice because people may have heard it. Whereas the thing about social media is a fraction of people have heard these things. You know what I mean? So until you're saying them again and again and again, it doesn't become common knowledge. But we definitely hold ourselves back by overthinking.
oh,
Um,
100%.
and it is, yeah. But and that like, as social media is not helping because it's not showing our stuff to everybody all the time. So then you feel like if you have a message you want to get across, you have to repeat it again and again. But it's certainly not something that we would do on a daily basis, or even ourselves here talking. Like, if we have a question that we have a table, shocking, that has questions asked and then questions answered on one side, so that we don't ever like duplicate. But like, what's the
Yeah, and
big
it's
deal if we
hard, like,
actually
when you think
did?
about
Like,
it.
what's the big
Yeah, like,
deal?
when you think
Our
about it
answers are
like
probably
that,
changed. It's probably like weeks later and we feel differently.
but it's mad. Like, I went to put up the video this morning on Equitas about us coming on tonight and giving the times and the details. And I was standing in front of the bales of straw, and like, I looked like shite. Like, I was dirty and manky and rotten. But you know what was going through my head? It wasn't the mankiness. It was the people are just going to think I stand in front of bales of straw because this is where I do all my videos. It's like, Brian, will you get a fucking grip? Nobody is actually going to even notice where you're standing. Like,
Yeah,
they're
like,
definitely not going to care. Like, why
What were
would
you
that
going to
be
say?
my
Jesus,
goal?
has anyone nowhere else to stand?
You should go inside that one. Like, what are God? Like, well, I don't know what goes through my head. So it was like, right, well, I'm warm and I'm
I
driving,
know.
so I'm just going to stand beside my bed.
Well, you're not alone. You're not alone. You're
I'd
definitely
love,
not alone.
I'd love to know. Well, that was fascinating, Sarah. I love the
Oh, thank you.
similarities
Thank
between all the
you. I love talking about MVS and even like Nicola. Like she's so talented at what she does. She never ceases to amaze me, like with the stuff that she her perspective on things. And that's the same with the coaching. Like every coach looks at things differently.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating. You will always learn something. And I love that side of it too. I'm like, educate me.
Yeah,
So,
100%. Even the confidence of it, like, you know, when you get a really, really good lesson and you come out going, yeah, this is it. Like, things might not have gone perfectly, but you know that you can work on things. You know what your next steps are. You know what you want to achieve. I love that feeling. I love it. You're
exactly.
going, yeah, have a plan now. Mike can go
That's
according to
you
plan.
empowered. That's you empowered.
Yes, love it, love it, I love it. You have written down about a road safety meeting on the 18th of February. Do you want to tell us
So
a bit more?
this is very Equitas based, but it is basically what's happening is the Road Safety Authority are having a meeting, and the individual officers, the road safety officers from the county councils, are involved in that meeting, which makes sense. But there is one particular county council road safety officer. I think it's the one in South County Dublin.
Okay.
I don't know their names, but they are looking at bringing up in the agenda road safety, horses basically, and road safety, and what we can do and what we can help with, and basically where we stand and how can we make the road safer for everybody. Now this was going around social media last week, and then we got a request to cover it, and we wanted to get in some kind of personal story. So basically in this meeting, what they have asked the general public to do ahead of this meeting is to email your local road safety officer in your local county council and just express an interest in having this topic brought up on the agenda at that meeting on the 18th of February. And obviously the more people that get behind it and the more people that email in, the better, the more weight it's going to carry. So I have compiled a list that's not fully comprehensive yet, but it is a list of the road safety direct emails.
Better than not.
Exactly. Because there was something going around saying that if you send it to road safety at Meath County Council or meathcoco.ie, that it will get there, and that's not actually the case. So I was like, I don't want people going to the effort of sending emails and having them go either to
that's good. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I decided to investigate a little bit further, and I have a few more calls to make, but that list for the county councils, direct emails where possible for the road safety officers within them, will be published. But I think it's important for people to get behind it. We've asked a couple of the community members for Equitas to send us in why this is important to them. So basically their own experiences. And to say that they are frightening is an understatement. Have you ever had any bad experiences at hacking yourself, Mar?
I am I have, but I was very young, and I'm quite lucky where we are. I've always kind of been able to kind of, like, even in even Kieran's, they have nice hacking around them. So kind of no matter where I've been able to have, like, kind of, you might have to cross a busy road, but you'd always, because we live in the back arse nowhere, basically, you'd always have somewhere you'd be able to hack. But I remember when I was about 15 or 16, and I had a really flighty thoroughbred, and the only time he'd relax was out hacking, because it was the only time he thought it wasn't working.
Yes.
So I used to just hack him up the road, just once, twice a week, bring him up. But I was going past a house that was just up the road from our house, and there was a digger stopped on the road, and really kindly had stopped as I was walking up. And as I was going past, he started the digger and started revving it. So of course my horse reacted, he reared up, but there was a car coming in the opposite direction. The car wouldn't stop. So I was stuck in between the car and the digger. I couldn't get off my horse because he was rearing up. I couldn't get him to go forward. I couldn't get him to go backwards. So he actually ended up slipping and he cut all of his front legs. And now, luckily and unluckily at the same time, because he had gone low, I could jump off and lead him in. But the car just took off and the digger took off in the other direction and I was left on the road. 15-year-old girl, thoroughbred. Oh, it was so frightening. So for a good while after that now, Dad used to walk up and down with me, or he'd drive in front of me, or I'd be gone 5 minutes and he'd drive down and past and come back. But it really put an awful lot of manners on me, to be honest. Like Claire slags me when we always wear high vis. If we're hacking out of Claire's at any stage, we always have our high vises on. But like I have a high vis, I have my high vis quarter sheet, I have the piece that goes around my hat, I have the piece that goes around his legs. You can't miss me. Like I have a giant beacon. But I think it has to work both ways. People have to realize that horses aren't machines and you're in a machine and you are controlling it. While we have control of our horses, they react, things happen. Like, I mean, in Clare's, we have an awful lot of tractors. We live in a farming community. 9 times out of 10 people are unbelievably respectful. Like they'll stop, they'll pull in, they'll wait for us to pull in. They're absolutely wonderful. But there's so much more that we can do and that people can be aware of. And this campaign is so important. Like it's vitally important. And I think we need, as an equestrian community, to get behind it and to send the emails and to make sure that people understand that we're not just saying, oh, we want to go on the roads or we want to take over. These are valid reasons. And they're like some of the stories that came in. Oh my God.
I had one very, very close call when I was, again, a good bit younger. I was probably around 17 and I was hacking it. So our roads are funny in that they're country roads, but they're quite busy. You know what I mean? Okay. So we're very rural, but we are connected to a village, and it seems to be that we have a lot of kind of like quarries around us and businesses, like, do you know what I mean? Kind of slightly commercial. So it tends to bring the bigger trucks and stuff like that onto our roads. And that's the road from the yard. So I had taken my horse, I had gone hacking, I was with my mom, and then I was going down through the village. And you know the way, like when you're going down through somewhere quite kind of busy-ish, like there's parked cars, but I mean, like it's a very small village, so like it's not as if like it was bumper to bumper with cars, whatever. And I saw this lorry coming down fairly quick down the hill, and I pulled in between 2 parked cars, and he kept coming, but my horse, like I was trying to get in as much as I could, but my horse, because something was going on between the 2 parked cars, he wouldn't go in fully. Like he just paused and hesitated, and he kind of almost like went to step back. And I was like, this lorry is not stopping. So I ended up having to turn him into the lorry to get the bum in, you know what I mean? And to get out of the way. And it all had to happen really, really quickly. And thankfully we were all okay. But like I was 100% shook. But you know, the worst thing was the lorry went down past us, right? And about 20 yards past us, pulled in and got out and went over to the shop. So he was absolutely like bombing it down the village to pull in and go to the shop. I was like, you nearly, like,
you see,
I was like, no need for that. There was no need for that. I just like, it's so much of it is education. And again, like probably, hopefully where you're living, again, because it's rural, they're livestock, they're people that deal with livestock, they're people that deal with animals, they're people that understand it. Our machinery, you kind of have to slow down, let them buy, you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like where I'm living is kind of half and half. You know what I mean? Like where my yard is like half and half. It's different, but it's not. It's still urbanized, if you know what I mean. So there's people there that don't have anything to do with animals. There's people that drive through the village that wouldn't see a horse
that wouldn't even understand. No.
And there'd be no farmers in our area that would cross the road with their animals or anything. You know, they like some places like they just take ownership of the roads at milking times and, you know, stuff like that. There wouldn't be any of that in my area. Like, so now where I'm living, it's definitely more country, like it's single car roads that where my house is, which definitely makes it a bit safer. But that also brings it then if you meet somebody on those roads that's going a bit quick, you don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just brings, look, the biggest thing for us all is education. It's educate riders
100%.
as to how to protect themselves as best as possible, how to protect their horses. Like we said, the hive is, you know, having plans in place if you're going out with somebody else, but this is the procedure, this is what works for me, this is what we should do if we meet this kind of vehicle or whatever. And then to educate the road users, like people that drive the cars and even, you know what I mean, everything like that, as to how to actually deal with meeting a horse and what do you do even if the horse looks a bit dodgy or a bit like upset or, you know, a bit jiggy on the side of the road. Do you know what I mean? Like what do you do? How do you best deal with so yeah, I think it's important topic to keep having in the forefront of people's minds, lest they forget unless there be an accident.
Yeah, no, 100%. And you're right, it's education, and it's education on both sides.
There's no room for error, really, is there? When there's animals and cars and roads, there's just no room for error. And I just think that deserves to be kept in the forefront. And yeah, it's scary with the near misses that people have had. And I genuinely believe that the drivers involved don't know. They've missed it. They have no idea. They're driving away blissfully unaware, you know, and ignorance is bliss in their eyes. And it's trying to get rid of that ignorance.
It will be very interesting, and I don't know how much of a difference it will make, but hopefully it might make some little bit when they bring in the new speed limits. So all those back roads now are going to go down to the 60 kilometers an hour. So it'll be interesting to see if that even has a positive effect. Now, I know, and I will put my hands up, sometimes I am Russian and sometimes things happen and we go, but it'll just be interesting to see if there is a difference when these new laws come in and when everything is slowed down. Hopefully that will also have a little bit of a positive effect with any bit of luck. But I do wholeheartedly agree. I think we need education on both sides, and especially when you're heading into rural areas. Like, we are quite lucky. I live literally 2 minutes from our local, I don't want to call him a dump, he's a rubbish collection service, so I don't know what the proper title for him is, but he is like, it's literally just up the road, and the lorries start going at 5:30 in the morning. But the majority of the people that are working for them all know this road, so they will crawl up and down it because they know there's cattle, they know there's horses, they know there's sheep, they know what to expect. They generally have it down to a time because we try and keep it at the. Now, we're not milking, and we're quite lucky we don't have to have a ferocious amount on the roads anymore, thankfully, but they're quite respectful and they're very good, and hopefully it'll last. Long may it last, because it makes my life a lot simpler.
Yeah. I think that's important as well for your local area to try and figure out if there's a good time to go out hacking. It's setting yourself up for success as best you possibly can. You know what I mean? Like, I know for us, the Sunday morning was the only time that I'd go out hacking on our roads. Yeah. And you might meet 2 cars. Do you know what I mean? Like, first thing on a Sunday morning, you might meet 2 cars. Like, it would be the ideal time, but it doesn't take the difference between that then and a Monday, 11, 12 o'clock. You know what I mean? And it's very, very different.
Like, a little bit of common sense. Don't go for a hack at 5:30 on a Friday evening. Do you know, unless you know where you're going, you can get in, you know your route is safe. You can possibly even get in off the road. Like, we're quite lucky in Clare's, it's right beside the money trail. So if there is a lot of traffic or there's stuff going on, we know there's gateways, and Belinda is good enough that she lets us in. Now, obviously, we don't take advantage of that. We're not going to go galloping across the fields. We're not going to, there is respect there as well, but we're quite lucky in respects that we have places that we can go into, and she has little bits of forest.
I'd love to hear if there are more of those. Like, I mean, you hear the bridleways that are kind of protected in the UK. I'd love to hear. We don't really have. I don't think we have any of them here, do we? But I'd love to hear.
Not
Yeah, not in the same vein, but I'd love to hear if people have hacking routes that are open, you know what I mean, to the public, and that they're, as you say, respected, and there's been a nice partnership formed where no one's feeling hard done by.
Yes. No, I would. I'd love to hear about those.
Even for me, like there's quiet roads off the main road that we're on, and like I don't even know what is it like in our road is not a main road by any stretch of imagination, but there's the one lane traffic off that road, which makes for really nice hacking, but I still have to go on that stretch of road to get to anything that's quiet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I never stay on that road indefinitely and carry on and then come back. I always veer off left or right or whatever, but you still have to travel that road going and coming back. You know what I mean? So it's just never the most relaxing time for me, to be honest.
Well, hopefully, look, people will get behind this and they will email and they'll have a look at your article and your email addresses when they come out.
So what's coming is an article on just letting people know about the meeting and what they can do to help. And then it's going to give a few backstories of people that have been involved with almost accident or accident. And that's just basically just to kind of highlight how quick these things can happen, and how even in certain scenarios where you think everything's okay, how it can quickly turn around the other way. And basically how vulnerable we can be. So then following that, then I have the RSA and HSI have a road safety booklet. So they're going to be, that's going to be linked throughout, but I'm going to outline the contents of that in another article and let that go out kind of separately. So that's going to be standalone and people can read that and absorb what's in there. And that's basically just educate people on the horse and off the horse. So whether you're driving or riding, it will hopefully educate people. So that's what's to come. But if anyone has any stories that they want to share or personal experiences, look, the more we talk about it, the more education people will get from it, and hopefully the less likely it is that we come into any hardship with it. So yeah, that's the plan. So 18th of February, emails to be sent in. I will be sharing the document of any of the emails, but obviously people can go and get them themselves. They don't have to wait for me to share that. So email in your local road safety officer from your county council, and just express an interest that this be brought up at the meeting on the 18th of February.
Love it. Love it. I love it.
Right. Let's finish up. We go with our, what time have we got? We've only got 5 minutes left. No, let's go. What game will we play? What game will we play?
I don't mind. Do you want to do the pictures? I don't mind.
Yeah, okay. So we'll go, okay. I haven't looked at this. I suggested it earlier on, but I never actually checked my pictures. The first picture is actually one that I shared to Instagram today. And it was myself and Brie. I was doing a bit of work on these articles, and she had managed for the first time to climb up on the chair behind me and was giving me hugs and everything, and it was very, very nice. The next picture is so my brother came out at the weekend, obviously for Paige's birthday, and he brought out her present, but he also brought out a bag that Savina my niece had kind of amalgamated for Paige, all bits and pieces, stuff that she doesn't use anymore, hair products, like all this sort of stuff, whatever. She hasn't gotten out of the bag, Mar. She hasn't gotten out of the bag. So the picture I'll show you is of her still yesterday morning buried in the bag.
Oh, love it.
I love it. Thrown out of it, but it's like a little kind of a treasure trove. Do you know what I mean? So I sent a picture to the family group. I was like, she's still in the bag. The other one actually, let's just do 3 pictures because we'll be here all night.
Okay.
At Paige's party, I had bought her a set of fairy wings, for her as part of her birthday present. She also got a wheelbarrow and some yard tools, but balance.
Yep.
But she handed them to John's brother at the party and insisted that he put them on. So he kindly obliged the 3-year-old birthday girl and put on the fairy wings. And I obviously took a picture. So yeah. Right, go on. What are your first 3?
My first 3, oh golly. Okay, well, the first one is actually a video, and it was a blooper video. I'm not going to show you because there's a lot of curses in it. It was when I was trying to do the video to go up on Equitas this morning for tonight, but myself and Park were having a slight tiff about a placement of a feeder in the field. And I was trying to record the video, and he was driving past the loader, shouting out the window, slagging me, messing like, and I was going, I have to do this video. So anyway, that's the first one. So I won't be showing that because that one is a little bit rude.
I think that should be shown. I think that should be shown. Maybe not live, but send it to me and I'll be able to.
Maybe not live, yeah. We might do it live.
I'll give you some B-roll content.
Maybe not live. But I might put it up at some stage. The second one is when I say I howled laughing at this. So I never wear matching socks. Don't find it necessary. Don't care what color the material on my feet are. Never have, never will. Just not in me. Can't do it. Unless somebody buys me new socks, I don't wear matching socks. Right? Just not me. Okay. So I got never ever will, right? You always know at Christmas because I have matching socks on. I won't purposely mismatch them. I just don't match them again after I've worn them. So I got a picture from my brother, right? And my niece Roisin is gas. She's such a character. Like her first word she learned was no. And it was a very no. She is well able. But she likes to sleep with socks on. And she lost one of her socks the other night in bed. But she found a mitten. So she woke up the next morning, and I don't know if you can see this, but she has one sock and one mitten.
Oh my gosh. And her little feet.
I roared laughing.
Well,
I thought I thought was the smartest thing I had heard in a long, long time and seen in a long, long time. And what is my third? My third is actually a screenshot of some motivational quotes that are going up on Equitas on Thursday morning. So for some reason, it wouldn't let me. Meta was having none of me adding music to anything. So I had to send them to myself and screenshot it. So I won't show you that one because you're all going to have to look at it on Thursday, basically. But that is the first 3 on my phone. I actually got a bit more rubby.
That's good. Okay, your rise and wrongs of the week.
My ride of the week is there is a new drive-through coffee dock in Carlow. And I just think it's the best thing ever. I don't have to go out of the car. I don't have to. I love it.
Isn't that? There should be. I've had this conversation like so many times. There should be so much more drive-through stuff. And I know that's I'm going to Americanize it, but I don't mean to be so stereotypical about it, but at the same time, oh my god, like for me, and again go back into my own, it's all about me.com, but with 2 kids in the car, for me to go in somewhere and get a cup of coffee, or for me to run in and get some milk, or for me to even just get like fuel, I'm like, oh my god, I have to unload everything and go in, and I haven't got enough hands to go in and buy anything because then you've got 2 hands coming out. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh, I love it, and they're
like in America, like they have drive-through banking, like they have drive-through ATMs.
I didn't know this until about 2 weeks ago. Somebody said this to me, and I was going, "That is genius! You don't have to find parking, you don't have to try and get out, you don't have to load, unload. I just think that's a cracking idea." But I got very excited.
Privacy, you can get out on a bank machine, and people are standing behind, and you're like, hey, "Excuse me, back up there, please."
Yes,
but like.
Yeah,
you don't have that when you're in a car. Like they literally can't be any closer. Anyway, there's lots of benefits to drive through, not just being a mum.
Yeah, well, no, I was delighted to see that open up, and lovely to see a local business opening up as well. In fairness, so because it's only 2 minutes down the road from us here. So it was lovely. And my second one, I can't remember what I actually wrote on the doc because I've closed it, but I know I am going to change it because my second one is, and I know Park is still listening to me, stupid fucking heifers. I was so mad the other night, Sarah, right? Fionn came in at 3:15. Daddy. Oh no. And like he never, I mean, he's 12. He doesn't come in now unless there's something very, very wrong. They had broken a gate and they were everywhere. They were on the lawns, they were in the grove, they were in the shade, they were, so in fairness, they actually
drops, like it drains your blood, doesn't it?
Oh my word. I came out and went down across, like out our back door, and all I could see was eyes. They were just everywhere. And now we were really lucky in some respects. They didn't all get out, so a lot of them were still in. But even trying to get those ones back in, this is awful. And Fionn played an absolute blinder, like 4:30 in the morning, and he running around after cattle in the middle of a field. Like he was so very good.
Yeah.
But that was my wrong of last week because they really annoyed me. And now my lawn is disgusting. So anyway, I've gotten over first world problems, but they annoyed me. What are yours, Sarah?
Bold. My ride of the week is that it's my mom's birthday tomorrow, and I am taking her off for the afternoon. We're going to get some afternoon tea, and then my dad said, "Why don't you girls treat yourselves to a spa treatment on him?" So I was like, "Why, yes, please, I will." Yes. So yeah, we're looking forward to tomorrow night. It is. Yeah, we're just going to have a bit of afternoon tea followed by an hour-long spa treatment, and I will still be home to get the girls to bed, or at least give them a kiss before they go. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to that. So that's definitely my right of the week. And then my wrong of the week, which, you know, might work with the drive-through thing, is cashless. Since the storm, so many places will be cash only. And I am 100% cashless. There is no doubt about it. I had to go in today and get cash in the garage because, again, their machines aren't working, but they can give you cash back, but they can only give you cash back if you have your card with you. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even have my card with me anymore. Anyway, that's my whinge. But
it's all from your phone.
I do.
Do you pay for everything with your phone? Yeah, so do I. I'm a disaster. I never have a card. I'm terrible. I definitely never have.
Yeah. And then I've taken my card, like my purse, with me more places now than I did, because I was like, there's a few times when I've gotten stuck and I've been like, I don't even have, like, I was parking one day in the shopping centre and their machine wasn't working, and I was like, I actually can't get cash anywhere. I was like, because I didn't have my card with me to either put it into the machine or so I didn't like that feeling. So I tend to kind of have my card not too far from me, but not always the case. But yeah, if there was a drive-through cash machine, it would have been very, very easy. So yeah, if any.
That's how we're going to make our millions, Sarah. Equitas and drive-through cash machines.
Entrepreneurship.
Look, we're sorry.
Right, we'll wrap up. That was hopefully it wasn't too bitty with my silly Wi-Fi for the listeners, but thank you so much for joining in, and Porrick, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
I love when he tunes in from the other room. I think it's just hilarious. I think it's gas. He's catching up. But you know what Emma actually said to me the other day? She was like, I love catching up with the podcast. It's like I catch up with you even though I haven't seen you, because we keep missing each other, because obviously if she's in the yard, I don't go to the yard because obviously she's there. She's like, I feel like I get to catch up with you and I haven't seen you. Do you know what I mean? So it's great. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's nice to hear. So he's catching up with you from the sitting room.
From the sitting room, yeah. That's very right.
Go on with you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
See you next week, guys. Thanks, Mo.